The Victory 93.7 WTKB Atwood Milan.
Good morning, everybody. You are now listening to Resilient Radio, Recovery Radio Hour, and I am your host, Daphne Wallace. I am also in recovery from mental illness, substance abuse, and trauma. My goal is to build a resilient recovery support community. Through this program, I hope to reduce the stigma associated with mental illness and addiction by education, story sharing, and connecting with community leaders. Now I want to thank our sponsors. We have Mark and Lisa Manning with Custom Jewelers, your hometown jewelry store for all your custom design, retipping, and jewelry repair needs. Specialized jewelry. They now do cremation and remembrance jewelry as well. They are moving to a new location at 1015 Jones Boulevard, Suite D4 next to Steve Marsh Ford. The grand opening is this coming Saturday, June the 8th at 1 o'clock p.m. 30% off of everything in the entire store that day from 1 o'clock to 3:30, and there will be giveaways as well as karaoke and refreshments. Put your name in the drawing between 1 to 2:30 for a chance to win a pair of diamond stud earrings. Winner will be announced on Froggy 104 at 2:30. Custom Jewelers, your hometown jewelry store. So we're going to get things kicked off this morning with some poetry. So this is Roxy's take on music and recovery. The title is With Music We Save a Life. Coming together with powerful thoughts, music will soothe the ear. Giving your life to drugs each day will leave you with pain and tears. Find a way to touch their lives, tell them they are enough. Be with them in their darkest times, even when things are rough. We have the power to fight, to live, to triumph the drugs that we take. The unity love in each of us, with music it can't be faked. Rest assured we'll find a way to save a life each day, with music and love in our fingertips and the words that we conquer and play. Written by Roxana Tucker. For more of Roxana's poetry, go to Facebook to Roxy's Take on Recovery and Poetry. If you or someone you know is seeking mental health resources in your area, go to ibhelpless.com. Our topic this week is Come Together. We have a special show this morning. All of the music played today comes straight out of Maine. For more information up ahead, stay tuned. We're going to talk about these talented musicians and the mission they are on. You're listening to Resilient Radio, Recovery Radio Hour on the Victory 93.7, Milan, Tennessee. We're going to get you started now by the song by our featured guest, Help Someone, the Nine Lives Band.
Little by little, piece by piece, you can pull yourself together on your knees. Step by step, one day at a time, just keep on keeping on and leave the past behind. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow may never come. Don't you be afraid. Help someone, help someone, help someone, help someone, help someone. Little by little, piece by piece, you're gonna find the strength to get back on your feet. Step by step, one day at a time, just live and let live. Have little faith, don't be blind. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow may never come. Believe in anything you can. Help someone, help someone, help someone, help someone, help someone. Some things you cannot change, no matter what you do. If you're looking for someone to blame, don't forget about you. When it feels like you can't stay, and there's nowhere left to run, nowhere left to hide, you know you're not the only one. Little by little, piece by piece, you got to give a little hope to everyone you meet. Step by step, one day at a time. If you can let it go, you can untangle your mind. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow may never come. Be true to yourself and help someone, help someone, help someone, help someone, help someone, help someone, help someone.
In a few minutes, you will get to hear from Who, the Nine Lives Band, from the band members Jeremy and David. Our band often includes other musicians that frequently or randomly play with us. The concept of our Nine Lives Band is it's whoever is playing with us at any given time. What? A synergy of souls. A synergy of souls is our motto and philosophy based on the incredible power of music to meaningfully connect people. Why? Our mission is to help someone. This is the only radio program built to create a resilient recovery support community by Broadcast Communications for those out there looking for support. We all struggle in this life. Not all of us have a support team. If you would like to donate to or sponsor one of our shows and help us on our mission, email clientservices@tentalk.org. Again, that's clientservices@tentalk.org. Also, go to Facebook and join our group Resilient Radio to catch up on shows you may have missed. We are all about music, community, and love. Now this is Waiting for the Sun, more of Nine Lives.
I know I'm not the only one on the East Coast, waiting for the sun to break me out of the rut I'm in. When will this winter end? I know I'm not the only one on the West Coast, waiting for the sun to break me out of the rut I'm in. When will this winter end? And you might find that just like me, you've grown tired of breathing the still air between the walls. I've read all of the books upon my shelf is living out. The emails and the calls will wait for me as I break free and breathe. I know I'm not the only one on the East Coast, waiting for the sun to break me out of the rut I'm in. When will this winter end? I know I'm not the only one on the West Coast, waiting for the sun to break me out of the rut I'm in. When will this winter end? Gray skies hover over me, no leaves upon the trees, and I just sit inside, waiting for the thought. I wanna feel alive, wanna break free from this rut I'm in. Head to the keys, move with the tides, and I wanna feel the sun. I wanna feel alive, and I know I'm not the only one on the East Coast, waiting for the sun to break me out of the rut I'm in. When will this winter end? I know I'm not the only one on the West Coast, waiting for the sun to break me out of the rut I'm in. When will this winter end? And hope is all that's left to ease these winter blues. If hope is what you need, I got hope to lose. 'Cause I know I'm not the only one on the East Coast, waiting for the sun to break me out of the rut I'm in. When will this winter end? I know I'm not the only one on the West Coast, waiting for the sun to break me out of the rut I'm in. When will this winter end?
Welcome, everybody, to the Resilient Radio Show. We are here now with Jeremy and David of the Nine Lives Band. How are you guys doing this morning?
Hey, great. Thanks so much for having us, Daphne. It's,
Absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm really delighted to be here. Thank you.
So to start off with, how is the weather in Maine?
We're waiting for the sun.
Perfect. Perfect. So I'm so yeah.
I think we had like 48 out of the last 52 days of rain or something. So we're definitely waiting for the sun
We're
here.
literally waiting for the sun on many levels.
I know, right? So I'm so excited to have you both on the show. Can you tell us about the Nine Lives Band? How did you guys come up with the name?
Well, so we had a song actually called Nine Lives, and it was just kind of, so it's basically the premise of that, and kind of our philosophy for the band is basically like, we all just help each other. We've all quite literally have lived many, you know, we've lived many lifetimes in many different, you know, ways like anybody else, you know. And so, you know, sometimes we need a life, sometimes we take a life and need help and help others. And
I think the way it worked out is we were having a rehearsal here in David's Man Cavern back a few months ago, and we started discussing names for whatever we were doing. And, you know, we had just played Nine Lives a couple times, and one of our fellow bandmates thought, gee, you know, that's a really good song because it offers, you know, it offers a message of hope. It offers a message of sharing, and he's the one that said, why don't we just call ourselves the Nine Lives Band? So that's kind of how it came to be.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So I know the mission. I know the mission is to help someone. Can you give us more insight on what that means to you personally?
Well, for me personally, I'm a recovering person. Have been for over 30 years, and came to music actually being able to play, you know, kind of later in life. I you know, pursued my addictions for a number of years and didn't start actually playing music. And when I first got my first used drum kit about 22 years ago, when I was in my middle 40s, and you know, prior to then, I'd always wanted to do something, always been interested in music, always wanted to play, but you know, I'll play tomorrow, and I was doing my other things today, and I knew that was going to have to change, and you know, my circumstances led me to being able to start playing a little bit, taking a few lessons, and then you know, spending the next decade learning my instrument. That's kind of the way I got started before I started playing with others.
Yeah, and then that was David, just because I know I can't say this is Jeremy. I would just so David's helped me a lot in my in life, really, just as a good friend and as a musician. And you know, it's funny because really, when you think about music and then life in general, it is really an effort helping people. You know, I play guitar and write songs, and there's always things I theoretically or whatnot in music that I'm, you know, look to other people to help me with to understand and learn new ways of playing, and then. So that just kind of like translates to life as well. And, you know, David's helped me on many levels on the recovery side of things. So to be able to, you know, he said, you know, your recovery is a gift. Basically, really the bottom line is he says your recovery is a gift, and you can't just kind of hoard it and keep it for yourself, you know, without, you know, going to crazy levels to help someone. But, you know, you got to extend yourself and help other people in the same way you would as a musician. If someone says, hey, how do you play that chord or whatever, then you show them. You know, it's as simple as that.
Absolutely. So, Jeremy, how long have you been playing?
Well, I played piano as a child, and I was kind of, let's say, you know, like forced to play that. And I really didn't like it. And then I found the guitar in my early 20s, and that really hit home with me. So, yeah, since I've been playing, I guess, music
for a long time.
Yeah, a long time, but guitar specifically. I think I'm 47, and so I'd say it's 20-ish something when I found the guitar. That really, I like the guitar.
I like the guitar too. What is the?
Well, it's a lot easier to carry than a piano, and no.
That's true.
Say, hey, who wants to hear a song and pull out a piano?
Unfold it and lay it out. What is your writing process? Is it easy or?
That's such a great question. It's like, and a lot of people ask me that, and I think it first and foremost starts with having to have the inspiration. And I've kind of just learned through times. I really love to write more than anything. I think lyrical stuff, you know. So what separates, I guess, me from a poet is just wrapping music around my words. But I really, really take a lot of care in my writing. I really love to write. I've always been a writer, and so the funny thing is, it's kind of like every time I try to chase writing, like I may feel like I want to write a song, like, oh boy, I'd like to write a song because I'm in Tennessee and having a great time with that. But it just doesn't work that way. I kind of have to wait for that inspiration to come to me. And it comes usually from all different kinds of emotions, all the palettes of emotions. Like quite honestly, I might be sad. I might be angry at something. I might be really happy at something. I might just be in a really good state of mind. And this kind of inspiration to write will then come to me.
Yeah, and it's weird, too, you know, as a musician myself, because it's so random. it's so random when it happens. Sometimes I'll like be washing dishes or something, and a rhythm will come in my head, and and then I might remember some lyrics I might have written a good while back that goes perfectly with.
Yes,
You know,
exactly. And sometimes sometimes I'll pick up the guitar and it's like some sort of rhythm structure or rhyme or harmony, chord progression will kind of hit me, and then the lyrics will come, and sometimes the lyrics will come, and sometimes it's a combination of both, and then sometimes it'll be just this burst of creative inspiration to write and create for like 3 months, and then for 6 months, zero. So it's really hard to pinpoint, which makes it fun. But it certainly is some sort of energy that I can't really describe better than that, or capture. Like I can't capture it and hold on to it. It just comes and goes at its own kind of free will.
right. What is the feeling that you have when you finish pulling a song together?
Oh man, it's definitely like a drug.
Yeah, this is powerful. What we experience and what we've been experiencing for the past few months when we actually play. I generally begin by saying a prayer, asking for guidance and direction, and let me be your vessel. And then our souls come together, and I'm still in awe of what we're able to produce sometimes. The feeling, the connection with audiences. We've been playing locally fairly regularly, and the feedback we get, and the hugs, the thank yous, that song really touched me, in a way it's, the rewards just keep coming. Thank you.
So, what is your best places for each of you to write or play? Like for Jeremy, David, do you write too?
I actually have written my first song recently, and Jeremy and I were talking. I've kind of been trying to helping out a little bit with some of the stuff that he does, and he said you should find something that's really important and you really care a lot about. So I wrote a song called "I Love You." I loved you before I knew you, and it was dedicated to my granddaughter, who's now 6.5 years old.
Oh,
And I haven't performed it for anyone other than her, and the feedback I've gotten from her audience is, "Grandpa, that makes me happy cry."
right.
That makes me happy cry. So yeah. So apparently I have touched the audience that I wanted to touch so far. At some point I'll actually maybe do it in front of other people, but for right now I'm just it's still a work. It's still a work in progress.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it
David
is a
said-
process.
Yeah.
What was you going to say, Jeremy?
I was just going to say that, so with all the songs that I've written where David's been really helpful, there's 3 elements to music, rhythm, harmony, and melody, right? And I really just feel that, rhythm, whether you're playing Bach, Beethoven, or classic rock, rhythm is there even if you don't hear it or it's not so pronounced. And so David's been playing, his dedication to really kind of theoretical rhythm structures and understanding of rhythm is really, he's put in a lot of genuine hard effort. And so like what's really cool is when we come together and we play, he's not only able to kind of bring some, obviously when you play with somebody who he plays full drum sets or hand drums, all sorts of things. He's very versatile. But point being is when he's able to add that sound and those elements and that dynamic nature to kind of the stuff that I'm just only able to do on my guitar, it actually adds for a whole new layer of inspiration and energy, I'll call it.
Oh, yes.
And so through that, what's kind of cool is he's been able to give me feedback in terms of, kind of like the way, how the pace of songs, what kind of rhythms we use, and just so it's been great just working together because it's just been something you can't do on your own. That's the benefit of playing with other people. You just can't accomplish it on your own. And where I most likely like to play, really, honestly, it's anywhere I'm at. Really, I mean, it's like I like to be. It's more of like where I'm at internal.
Right.
It's like, and again, it's kind of like writing. It's like sometimes I pick up the guitar and I feel really connected to the music, and other times not so much. And I play either way, but I really enjoy when it's kind of like, does this make when again when it's just that 100% connectivity to the music, and it's that can happen whether I'm in my room or I'm out in nature.
Well, y'all do great together. I mean, I was just listening to that again. I've been listening to it like 3 times. Well, several of them, but the help someone, the type of drums that he's using in that, it does go awesome with that. The way y'all are doing it live, it sounds really good.
We were. I'm glad we brought that up because I wanted to say, we were so honored and grateful to be on the show with you and your community there, and it's just so great what you're doing. Now, yesterday we actually got together, and there's a lot of things in music. And I'll let Dave, in today's world, there's just so much digital technology and so much manipulation you can do, which is wonderful and great. But at the same token, I think there's also a little bit of lost value. There's just the raw nature of music, and so we were really. We thought you'd appreciate that. We sent kind of the video is that we kind of got together and David used, what's it called, a cajon? It's a hand drum. I'll let you speak to that, a wooden thing. And then we just really did that on our acoustic guitar with no electronics, no digital manipulation, and sent you the video.
And it sounds so great.
Yeah, and you were talking about locations I've played with Jeremy. I'm a recent cajon player. I've been a kit player for the past 20 years, and when I started playing with Jeremy, it seemed like a lot of his music required a different kind of percussion. So I began playing, and was easily able to adapt to cajon because I guess I kind of always been a drummer all my life, banging on things here, there, and everywhere. And the end result of that is I have a very, very small portable instrument that Jeremy and I have taken to playing on island cliffs. Mm-hmm. We even shot a music video on a Maine State ferry out in the open sea, about 20 miles out last week in a driving rainstorm, just because we wanted to. I can remember we're looking down on the captain on the ferry is looking down from the bridge at us and just kind of nodding his head saying, these guys are going overboard.
But it's kind of a cool concept because, I love the acoustic guitar. I think you play acoustic too, Daphne, right?
Yeah, yes, I do. I play acoustic mostly.
So it's kind of cool with this kind of cajon thing is, David he also has all these different kits of magnets, all the shiny pearl kits and all that sort of stuff. But what's kind of coming together is, with our messages being so simple, that doesn't necessarily mean easy in the lyrical content. We've kind of just by nature whittled down our instrument and music noise, for lack of a better word, and it's kind of been an interesting process because we're not so much playing on these kind of whiz bang these high end drum kits and stuff. We're just really because we're so in tune and so committed to our messages and the sound and the rawness, and we think that's a unique thing. And so it's kind of fun to be able to boil it down to its simplicity and then hence be able to play in all these these
well, I really think it's working. I think it's awesome. I think that what y'all are doing is cool. I love the melody and groove. If you're just listening and just now tuning in, this is Resilient Radio, and we've been talking it up with Jeremy and David of the Nine Lives Band, straight out of Maine. And up next, we will touch on their motto, a synergy of souls, the importance of coming together in recovery, and why music matters. We will return after this song, Love and Let Go, by the Nine Lives Band.
Take it easy or take it hard. Hang your head or look at the stars. Take it fast or take it slow. Live and let die or love and let go. Love and let go. Make excuses or make your stand. Take what's yours or reach out your hand. Make it not or make it so. Tell yourself a lie. Oh, love and let go. Love and let go. Do what's wrong or do what's right. Hang it all or find the strength to fight. 'Cause we are real and we are soul. It works both ways. Love and let go. Love and let go. Love and let go. Love and let what you think or do what you should. Help yourself or anyone else you know. It's up to you. Love and let go. 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 Love and let
We are back now. We've been talking with David and Jeremy of the Nine Lives Band about the mission of the band and their motto, help someone. Our show topic this week is come together. So we're back, excuse me, with Jeremy and David. Can you guys tell us about your motto, A Synergy of Souls?
Yeah, let David take that one.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I something really special happens when I gather with folks, like-minded folks. I've been as a recovering person. I'd say 98% of the folks in my life are those folks either trying to or are in some sort of recovery, and we spend a lot of time together. And I really believe that when we're doing that work, that good work that's in front of us, that a connection is made. And I think nowadays that's one of the things that we struggle with is a lot of folks are really disconnected. And what we are hoping to be able to do is carry our message through music to help people get connected with us, so they can be all part of the synergy. It's not just for us to keep; it's for us to give away and even for us to share.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just, there's just so many things in today's world. I mean, from Daphne, I know all your show touches on all of the mental health issues, and then struggling with addiction and all that. But, there's one thing that's really, I don't know why it just came to mind, but sometimes when things come to mind, there's a reason.
Right.
One of the things that's popping up in today's world with our youth, and if we're quite honest with all of us, is actually, digital and internet addiction.
Right.
Serious. So I'm not going to go into that topic, but, it's like the point being when you put 5 people around together in a circle to play music, and if you're really honest, nobody gets out of here alive, right? And nobody's got it easy, and everybody's struggling with something.
Right.
And so I guess the synergy of souls at this point, there's just so many, there seems to be so many these days, so many, struggles, for lack of a better word. And so what the cool thing I think of the synergy of souls, you put 5 people around, all of a sudden you start playing music. It almost really doesn't matter what your struggle is. It kind of just starts to, the music starts to soothe it, almost like a swab or something.
Yeah, and the connection, in itself. Even in what's happening here, having people on and we all struggle with different things. Some people may not struggle with this or that, but we're all kind of coming together for the same cause, which is unity, and highlighting the things that are important and that help cope, different things. And it's just, I think
right,
it's
and
really
I think
awesome.
I think why the internet and the digital thing came to mind, because I have children as well. But again, I don't want to put it off on the children. That's really easy to do, because I think adults need to take ownership of this as well.
Yeah.
As much as we are connected on Facebook and it's all the social tools, don't even need to name them. If we're really honest, that's not really it's not really a pure connection.
Right.
There's a barrier of technology in between the people. So when you actually get in person and play music together physically, that's the kind of connection that I think the world needs.
Yes, it's more of a spiritual and highlighted, heightened experience, because you can feel the healing and the vibes and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And our mission with the Nine Lives Band is to, we play with a number of other musicians, and we continue to include those folks because there's plenty of room for all of us.
Right.
And if you're not in the boat yet, hang around and we'll pull you in because there's room enough in here for everyone. And
I love that.
yeah, we do it together. We can do it together. And right now, we live in this age of some serious divisiveness, and we don't see that with our music. We don't see that in some of the circles that we travel in because we come from all walks of life. That stuff doesn't matter. What matters is that we're willing to share and we're eager to share a common journey, and that's the part that I really love about being part of the member of Nine Lives.
Yeah, well said.
Right.
So rather than in Daphne, sometimes it's just we're human beings, not even musicians. But rather than, if we were to get together right now with you and whoever else may be in the studio, and maybe someone doesn't play as much guitar, they maybe know like 3 chords. Well, rather than doing something, you can take a different approach and say, well, let's play something around those 3 chords rather than excluding, like kind of including, and that's just so much more growth for everybody, I think.
Right, I agree. David, earlier you touched this a little bit, but can you share with us a thing in your life that impacted you the most that caused you to get on this path of helping others like you're doing? A lot of times we go through different things, whether it's addiction or whether it's mental illness, or whether it's life happenings, but we have things that resonate with us.
Yeah, well, I have a number of issues. I'm retired law enforcement. I was in law enforcement for several decades, and spent the first decade as an addicted person, and was able to finish out my career, and as a recovering person, and saw, was able to open my eyes a little bit to the manners and methods in which we deal with the mental health issues and addicted persons. And the reality is we don't do a real good job sometimes. We could do a whole heck of a lot better. And that's been one of my struggles in trying to create a different path. I come from total abstinence-based recovery, and there's a big debate going on about how we ought to be taking care of folks and stuff. But the reality is, until we can, get people, basically control the addictions, you really can't take care of a lot of the other mental health issues because they get masked and clouded. So, that's kind of where I come from with that whole thing.
Okay. Where would you guys like to see the Nine Lives band be in, say, 5 years?
Just, what? The answer is I have no idea. I'm just enjoying it. It's amazing. You know what? That is the answer. It's amazing that we're even here doing this. Like, can you believe this?
I know, right?
So what I'm saying is I don't even want to think about it because it's just been such an incredible journey, like wherever it takes us.
Well, in my case, let me see. In 5 years, I'll be like 70. I'll be like 76 years old, and I think it reminds me of this poster I saw somewhere where somebody said, about never stopping drumming. You don't get too old to drum.
You may have to have a button where you can push it or something.
Exactly.
But I think you'll be all right.
or I'll be wheeling up to my...
He's selling himself way short. He's running like a 7,000-mile marathon.
Right?
I'm just going to do a half marathon.
Yeah, exactly. Half marathon. If you looked at him, you'd think he's like 27.
Yeah. You do actually look young.
Yeah, he's one of those types.
He's one of those.
Yeah, I can see myself wheeling myself up to my walk.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But I just, I'm just hitting stride. I have been given this I've been given a new lease on life because of recovery, because of my connection with these folks and the music we're playing. It's just, I get energized. I get filled up. The more I do this, the more I want to do it.
Right.
And I've got a very happy, contentful life, and this is a big part of it. I have a wife. I have children. I run a business. I'm working for myself and have been for several years now, and that's going pretty well. And all of this is only possible because that day back in October of 1984, I made the decision to pick up a telephone instead of a firearm. I could very well have ended up somewhere else, but I believe, on that day, a power greater than me intervened in my life I call it God, and that's made all the difference. You know,
Right.
I'm one of those people. You know, I believe I got picked. So now what I'm left with is, okay, what's the rest of the plan for me? And the plan is help someone. I don't get to pick and choose who I help, how I help. My job is to be open and available. And when this 9 Lives thing started coming together, it was like, okay, you're sure? I'm like 60. I mean, some of my drum kits are really heavy, and I'm finding myself lugging these things around, and I'm not complaining because I'm going to get to play music with Jeremy and others. But there are still sometimes I kind of look at this life and say, why couldn't this have, why couldn't I have passed this?
It's been a crazy journey.
Yeah.
So real quick, Daphne, when I first met David, you know, of course, like, you know, it's like I pegged him. I said, oh, my God, he's so, like, quiet and, like, he talks nice and everything. He must be in advertising and marketing. He must be a writer, right?
Right.
So I said, hey, man, I said, you willing to help me out, you know? And he said, sure, get in my car. And I said, now, what are you a writer for? You want to write for magazines? He's like, no, I'm an ex-police officer, and I do, like, detective. I'm like, oh, my God. So the point being is, like, our whole, and then it came to be that, you know, it's like, oh, you play music too? And he's like this, like, not just, like, liking the drums. Like, when I say passion, like a drum addict.
Right.
He's got, like, if you saw what I'm looking at now, there's, like, 10 different sets and rudiments. And, I mean, he
That's
takes
awesome.
drums out to islands and plays by himself. So, like, it's been just, I think, like, it's so inspiring. It's just been such a great journey because all these things, and then you pop back into my life. Our story's amazing, Daphne.
Right.
You know, and then we have, you know, we're doing this, which is amazing, and then we have other people here in Maine who are also talented musicians who are, like, pulling us out into, like, these places, like, playing, like, crazy shows and all churches, the oldest bars. It's just incredible. You can't even keep up with it.
Yes,
wild.
it's the journey.
Yeah, it's a journey. Yeah.
What message would you like to give someone out there that may be seeking recovery but live in shame?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Like, what message would you like to give someone out there that may be seeking recovery but live in shame?
Well, I think the message I would give is you can have this too. This is not just for me or Jeremy or for you, Daphne. Anyone can have this message.
Right.
It's just a matter of being willing to, in the beginning, ask for a little help and being willing to let those people help you, because there are folks out there that may know better than I did about what I needed. You know, when I'm looking, I can remember the day I'm on the telephone, then I'm talking with this crisis counselor, and he suggests that I do something about my alcoholism first, you know, and mentions, you know, a program. I can remember looking down at my gun thinking, I'm really not that bad. Is there anything else I can do?
Right.
And that's the insane I had become because of my addiction. And, you know, so if you're struggling, this can either be the worst day of the rest of your life or the best, depending on what choice you make.
That's beautiful.
You know, if you ask for help and then accept the help, you know, your life, I'm convinced that this, you know, this life can change. You know, I've seen a number of folks in my experience in working with others, you know, over the decades, walk in, heads down, dragging, you know, ready to give up on life, and because life has given up on them, only to suddenly, after a few weeks, notice their heads are coming up a little bit off the floor.
Right.
They're actually starting to smile a little bit, and you're starting to see a little bit of sparkle of that hope in their eye that, yeah, they realize they can have it too.
Right.
They can have it too. So that's really my message. This is for one and for all, and there's plenty of room in the lifeboat for all of us.
Yeah, and then just mine, just in real simplicity terms and personal experience. I think one of the things that really helped me is I did live in shame for a long time for a number of reasons, and you know, until I kind of came to learn, like, I honestly believe, and I've seen with my own two eyes now. It doesn't matter if you live in Beverly Hills, Greenwich, Connecticut, a trailer park, underneath the bridge. Honestly, everybody has issues. I used to think that there was some thing called normal. I've never seen that. There's no such thing as normal. And that's been, I don't know why that came to my mind, but that's been a real huge like lifting of a veil for me that I've spent time in all of those worlds, and
Right.
I came to kind of realize that I've yet to see. I don't know what normal is. So once I realized that there's nothing to be shameful of because everybody's fighting a battle that you know nothing about.
Yeah, I think normal is. I think that's a cycle on a washing machine. Right? that's pretty much the only place I've ever seen it in my the circle of life travel.
So that's been kind of helpful for me. Is there's really, that's what I like that saying. Have you ever heard that? Read that somewhere. Everybody's fighting a battle you know nothing about, right?
Right.
And that's true, And I mean,
For me,
I hate to bring up.
go
I
ahead.
hate to bring up like Robin Williams, but he always comes to mind. Didn't we all think he was funny, everybody loved him, and then we know the outcome of that. But what that the silver lining to that, or what at least that points out to us is, holy cow,
Right.
there's nothing to be. We're all battling something, so we're actually all in this together, and that was a big transformational thing for me.
That is awesome. Where can people go to find more of your music and connect with you on your mission? Or connect? Where can they go to get your music? Or
Yeah, you could just look up. You could just search Jeremy Cameron Music or Flies and Fins. That's kind of two things I have. So my last name's Cameron, so Jeremy Cameron Music, and then it's on Spotify and iTunes and all that, and
Okay.
it comes up.
Well, now it's time for our spotlight song and musician, and today it's all about the Nine Lives Band. We're bringing it home now with the song that originally brought us together. Here is The Epidemic.
He used to be the golden boy, Mama's pride and Mama's joy. All it took was a little pinprick. Now he's part of an epidemic. His mama's always dressed in black. He ain't never coming back. The habit was just too hard to kick. Now she's part of an epidemic. It's just simple arithmetic. We're all part of an epidemic. All the faces look the same, lying on the streets and begging for change. All they need is one more fix. Now they're part of an epidemic. All the babies with no names, victims of their mama's veins. Welcome to the world, here's your fix. Now you're part of an epidemic. Don't swallow the pills, it's the devil's food. Everything is what you're gonna lose. He'll find his way into your veins. You won't even feel the pain. Then you'll be running just to stand still. Pills won't work, but something else will. You can get it in the city or any little town. If you're not dead when you're coming down, everyone knows someone's name. Everyone's got someone to blame. It's just simple arithmetic. We're all part of an epidemic. It's just simple arithmetic. Now you're part of an epidemic.
So that was The Epidemic by the Nine Lives Band. Can you guys share with us, in your words, the meaning behind this song? And Jeremy, I'm pretty much aware, but David, what is your understanding of this song? And Jeremy, can you touch more on that yourself?
Yeah, I'll start and then hand it over to David. That'd be a better way to take it. So this is really an interesting song. It's in the way David and Daphne and I met. So I had a song. The first song Daphne played was "Help Someone," and that was out on the internet. And so the positive, the beautiful side of the internet is that it does connect us in other ways. And so that song had reached a mutual friend of Daphne and I, her name is Jerry, who I had never known. And I opened up my email one day, and it was from Jerry, and she had said that my music had touched her, specifically that Help Someone song. And unfortunately, her son Daniel had passed away from a heroin overdose the previous year or two before. And she had a a poem, and asked if I would write a song kind of based on the poem. So I basically, Daphne, how, it doesn't necessarily just poem to song. So I took I just speckled in a lot of the words she had in there. And it was quite a dark poem, if I remember it specifically. So, but I wanted to write the song in a way that could be used as, she's very committed to service in her community. She speaks at schools and does just too many things to even mention on this call, Daphne, as you know.
Right.
She's so committed to helping both people who are struggling with heroin addiction and or families of those people and or other parents who have lost children and so on and so forth, and does just so much incredible work. So I wanted the song to be, and I think it was something that we had agreed on, something that she could use as almost a tool that basically told a story but also forewarned, and she could use as, a piece of media. So that's kind of how that came to be. And it was very humbling. The humbling is, I don't even know the word. It was hard to write because I just felt such a deep sense of commitment to it that it almost never reached a spot where it was perfect. But at some point, I thought I did. It got to where it is.
And that's neat too, because, throughout that project that I was able to be a part of, so many different people came on and shared their versions and stuff. So it constantly was transitioning, which in reality is the way different people perceive the experience in their own lives. So it was really a really impactful project for me personally too. And I just think it was such a beautiful thing.
It really was. And then before I open it up to David, and so what happened was, the song was done, and Jerry loved the song, and she was kind of using it locally in the schools and sending it around. And I was like, man, how do we get more traction? So then what was amazing is how Daphne and I met. I came up with the idea, or Jerry and I came up with the idea. It was like, let's reach out to some people and see if other musicians would cover it. And Daphne is just such a gift to this world, She was just chokes me up a little. She was the first one, Daphne, to choose to cover that song. And then after Daphne, we were pretty committed to that for a good 6 months. And there was people from Australia and London, all over the world, who kind of lended a hand. And that was 3-4 years ago when the epidemic was not even nearly as bad as it is now. So quite an amazing story. And then I'll let you speak.
Yeah, I had basically been playing music for Jeremy for probably, maybe 6 to 9 months off and on. We played a gig early 2018 and did 3 songs at a fly fishing festival, and we played a little music, and the topic of the song had never come up, and then when we got back together and started playing more regularly, he played Epidemic for me, and it touched me in a way that I still tear up when I hear the song. I'm obviously a failed advocate of drug enforcement. I worked in the trenches of the war on drugs for over close to 30 years, right. And my response many times when I saw the mixed messages, the conflicting policies, or the total flat-out disregard for people, I would just kind of throw my hands up and go back to my home agency and go chase murderers and bank robbers and thieves and leave that drug business to other folks. And it seemed like it kept finding me. I found myself getting pulled back in a couple times in my career with that same response of just frustration, throwing my hands up and saying, if they don't care, why should I? And, I used to do this drug lecture at the high school and stuff, and near the end of it, I couldn't walk in there and look those kids in the eye anymore because I knew we hadn't done all that we could, because of the mixed policies, and obviously this is it's a very large issue, and I believe that the folks who may be kind of created and caused the problem are the same people who are driving the problem today. So I was thinking, okay, I'm good. I'm retired. I've got my little private investigation business, and I've got this little granddaughter that I get to visit every third weekend, and we kind of have this really cool thing going on. And I don't think I can run this time. I was with my granddaughter a few weeks ago, and I live in Brunswick, Maine, where the city where Uncle Tom's Cabin was written, and also where there's a statue of Joshua Chamberlain, who was a Civil War hero. But my granddaughter and I were talking about being afraid, because Grandpa talks about being afraid. Because nobody ever talked with me about that when I was young. So
me neither. And it was something I had to go through life just kind of figuring out on my own.
Yeah, and we talked about sometimes wanting to run away and you just can't. Right. And Grandpa can't run away this time. So what we're going to do is what Joshua Chamberlain did is we're going to make a plan in charge. And we're going to, make a plan in charge, and we're going to do it together, and just maybe we can turn, we can turn this life forward.
Right.
And make a difference. And, that's why I wanted to be part of this today.
I'm so glad that y'all are here. And today we cover the importance of music coming together and why it's important to help someone. And we got to know a little bit more about the Nine Lives Band and what it stands for. Don't forget to stop in this coming Saturday at 1 o'clock p.m. to Custom Jewelers located beside Steve Marsh Ford and Candyland in Milan. Also, go check out the Nine Lives Band and connect with them for the cause at Jeremy Cameron Music or Flies and Fins on Spotify and all other music apps. Next Tuesday, we will have on the show Michael King, previous Executive Director of Outreach and Engagement for Facing Addiction and former Executive Director of the Democratic Senate Campaign Committee and currently the Director of the Communities Project. He will be sharing his story of resilience, so you do not want to miss it. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Jeremy and David, for coming on our show and for being the awesome people you are. You are listening to Resilient Radio, and we will close with this song, Nine Lives.
Happiness, oh happiness, I sing and dance my soul away all day, all night, all day and all night. Move your hands and clap your feet, 'cause there's music dancing in the street. All day, all night, all day and all night. I got freedom. 9 lives if you need one. It's alright by me, I got my freedom. Hot sauce and greens. If I had any more, it'd be more than I need. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. But put me on the water and I'll get the job done, 'cause I got my freedom. 9 lives if you need one. It's alright by me, I got my freedom. And 9 lives if you need one. Standing on the wall and waiting for the sun. This could be the day those bastards finally come. I'm out on bail, the judge set me free. I swore to God it wasn't me, and I got my freedom. 9 lives if you need one. It's alright by me, I got my freedom. Are always muddy and leaking at the seams. I could get hooked on just about anything. Under this bridge in this dirty little town, this is where the battles go down. I got my freedom. 9 lives if you need one. It's alright by me, I got my freedom. If you need one, it's alright by me, I got my freedom. 9 lives if you need one. It's alright by me, I got my freedom. And 9 lives if you need one. It's alright by me, I got my freedom. 9 lives if you need one. It's alright by me, I got my freedom.